Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi wahdah, wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da amma ba'd. And Surah Yusuf, the 13th juz starts with this ayah. Now, with regards to 30 ajza of Quran, remember this is not something which was categorized into, like Quran was not categorized into 30 parts. It was not divided into 30 parts by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rather, it was made by people afterwards who would like to make it easy to complete the whole recitation in 1 month. The Sahaba used to, majority of Sahaba would complete their whole Quranic recitation cover to cover within 7 days. So normally 7 days. Some would do 3 days, a very few would do in 1 day. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam generally would discourage people to do it in less than 3 days. But for special people, for elite, it's okay. And that's why you would find the like of Sayyidina Uthman, Tamim al-Dari, and others, Abdullah ibn Zubayr, radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in, they all have been reported to have finished the recitation of Quran in 1 night, 1 day. And that's fine for elect, for special ones, not for everyone. For the rest of the ummah, it is about minimum 3 days. And for others, if you're getting like, non-hafiz, for example, maybe a week, 10 days. So the Sahaba normally would finish in 7 days. And then they started working their way. Time goes on, the Tabi'een came, and then their followers, and the Ummah continued to expand, and they had more and more work to do. So they got a little bit more time constraint with regards to availability. So what they did, they just thought, okay, let's just finish in 1 month at least. But they still kept with their practice. So they still would do Quranic recitation on a daily basis. So when you say 13th juz, it does not mean that this is how it should be, or this is how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned. That's why you would see this statement is actually a continuum from the previous ayat, but it is separated with juz being finished like 12th, and now we start in 13th juz, 1-3. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أبرئ نفسي إن النفس لأمارة بالسوء إلا ما رحم ربي إن ربي غفور رحيم. And I do not acquit myself. Indeed, the soul is a persistent enjoiner of evil, except those upon which my Lord has mercy. Indeed, my Lord is forgiving and merciful. Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam in the previous passage was being invited by the king, who found out that Yusuf alayhi salam has given the interpretation of the dream he had. So he said, I want to see him. The man came, and Yusuf alayhi salam said, I would not come out until I find out what's happening with regards to the accusation I was put in the prison for. Then king spoke to the ladies, and they verified it was not that he had done anything wrong. In fact, he is on the truth. It's us who were on the wrong. And then Yusuf alayhi salam said, I did not do it to shame someone or to cause someone trouble or embarrassment. Rather, I did not want my master, Aziz al-Misr, who took me out of the well, brought here. Well, he didn't take me out, but he's the one who bought in the market when the people who took him out of the well, the caravan people, they sold him. So anyway, Yusuf alayhi salam was very much like a son to him. He did not want him to feel that I have done anything wrong with regards to your wife, who he would take as a, family member. But anyway, so he said, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي. I'm not saying that I have not got inclinations towards sin. I'm not saying that I'm pure from that side. I do get insinuation. Why? Because in the nafs, the nafs, soul, does command a lot of bad things. it would just continue to enjoin evil. Ammara from Hamza, not Ain, the name of a Sahabi, and then they're not talking about that one, which is the name of Muslims as well, which is Ammar Ain, the one who builds, a home builder or whatever. So this is Ammara from Hamza, Ammara. Nafs is mu'annas in Arabic, feminine word. That's why the sifa of nafs is Ammara, al-Ammara, because there has to be correspondence between Mawsuf and sifa in all four respects, with few exceptions. But anyway, so that's why Ammara. It will continue to command bad things, except for the one who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows his mercy upon. Indeed, he is, my Lord is, the most forgiving and most merciful. So this is the self-deception. Self-deception. People do feel good about themselves. Here is a prophet, a mighty prophet, who, mashallah, controlled himself with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obviously. And he's still saying that I am not acquitting myself. I'm not saying that I do not get whispers. All I'm saying is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala held me. If Allah did not show mercy, I would have been in this situation. I would have been in trouble. And then Allah mentions in the Quran about those people who have sense of self-glorification. Allah says, have you not seen those who claim sanctity? Alam tara ila alladhina yuzakkuna anfusahum. They just sanctify themselves. Balillahu yuzakki. Rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sanctifies whomsoever he wills. Surah Al-Imran. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about in Surah, I think An-Nur should be. Anyway, do not claim sanctity for yourselves. فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَهُمْ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. Oh, that should be Surah Najm then. Do not claim sanctity for yourself. He knows best who it is that guards against evil. That's, I think, might be wrong. Let me just check. فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَهُمْ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. Surah Najm, I think. Let me just clarify that. فَلَا تُزَكُّوا. Yes. So, yes, this is Falat. This is Surah Najm. It's not. Let me clarify it here before I forget. Surah An-Najm. Okay, so Allah says, do not sanctify yourself. He knows who it is that guards against the evil. هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was asked, the Sahaba, what do you think about a companion who, if you treat him nicely, feed him, clothe him, still he would throw you in all sorts of trouble? And if you insult him and keep him hungry and naked, he would do what is good for you. Sahaba Ridwanullahi ta'ala ajma'in said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, there just cannot be a companion worse than him in this whole world. He said, by him in whose hands rests my life, yourself inside you, your nafs, is such a companion. Meaning, if you help him, if you feed him, if you listen to what he asks you to, then he's going to ruin you. And if you deprive him of his basic necessities and needs to a Sharia limit, not to kill it, but to keep him under control, قلة طعام, قلة كلام, قلة اختلاط مع الأنام, قلة منام, مع الأنام. So all those sort of things, you do that, قلة منام, كلام, and طعام, and اختلاط مع الأنام. Okay, so if you did that, then you can control it better. It's going to behave better. So nafs is like that. So there's three states of human self. Or you can from the very beginning, basic to intermediate to highest level. The first one is called Ammara. Ammara from Amara. Amara ya'muru means to command, the one that commands. It's like having your id. It just demands whatever it wants. It is not bothered about the consequences. All this nafs needs is fun. It's like small babies when they're born. All they want is just fun, regardless of what is the outcome of that, whether it's haram or halal. As long as it is pleasing them, they will just go for it. So Ammara, the one that commands, the nafsu Ammara, and nafsu al-Ammara. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, as the ayah just go, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي إِنَّ رَبِّي غَفُورٌ. And then the second one, when this gets a little bit matured, it's called Lawwama. Lawwama, an-nafsu al-Lawwama. This is the nafs that will rebuke you. Keep telling you of every so often. Would do a lot of lawma, la'im, malama. Allah says in the Quran, لا أقسم بيوم القيامة ولا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة. I do not take oath of the day of judgment, and I do not take the oath from the nafs al-lawwama. Means I do. Means that they are honorable, they'll be respected for that. Anyway, we come to that why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take oath from different things. And then third one is mutma'inna. Mutma'inna. Ya ayyatuha an-nafsu al-mutma'inna irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyah fadkhuli fi ibadi wadkhuli jannati. O tranquil soul, return to your Lord in a state that you are happy with Allah's decree, you are contented with it, and He is happy with you. So come rushing towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we work on our nafs from very beginning and start getting support from shuyukh and ulama and the mentors, spiritual masters, they would help us control the ego, control the nafs. Nafs needs a lot of fun. It is there just for fun. Whatever you make it happy with, it would want it. So if you find yourself having interest in getting pleasure by doing something haram, nafs would be fine with that. If you do the opposite way and train it and get all that pleasure in prayers, in Quranic recitation, nafs would start liking that. That is just training nafs to become tranquil, mutma'inna. The early stage is lawama and then mutma'inna. So one has to work on their nafs, ideally through ibadat, through zikr, through the good company, but then ultimately going with a mentor or spiritual trainer. It incites all the evil is called ammara. If you do not follow the commands of your nafs and continue to remind yourself of life hereafter, the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the love and beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's favors upon us. You think about all the favor that we get, and we keep talking to our nafs saying, please do not do that. Why would you do it for? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with this. You must be more in gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So behave. When you insist and keep doing it, then you would find that your nafs is actually getting a little bit better. Whereas it was just following whatever it desires, 100% has gone down to maybe 80%, maybe 95%. So whatever little improvement, there is some improvement, and that is quite good. So it means we're coming to the next level, improving. And then finally, we make it so subdued and tranquil that life is becoming so much more easy. The example of that is, maybe think about a horse that would not let you mount on it. It would not let you have any ride, any sensible, peaceful ride before it jumps you off his back. So what would you do? You have to train him. You have to make sure that you prove to this animal, this beast, that I am in charge. I'm not going to listen to you. You have to listen to me no matter what. I would control you in whichever way I will do. You have to listen to me. So nafs is like that. Obviously, you can't deprive him from all the pleasures completely, halal pleasures. That's why we have halal pleasures. It means you have to give them food, your nafs, you have to give it sleep, you have to give it all the different things. But if you did not, it is going to rebel and it would be running away from you. And you do not want that. Slowly and slowly, within the Sharia boundary, you come to the second level, lawama, and from there to mutmainna. So Ammara, lawama, mutmainna. Anyway, Allah says in the Quran, وَقَالَ الْمَلِكُ ائْتُونِي بِهِ أَسْتَخْلِصْهُ لِنَفْسِي فَلَمَّا كَلَّمَهُ قَالَ إِنَّكَ الْيَوْمَ لَدَيْنَا مَكِينٌ أَمِينٌ. And the king said, bring him to me. I will appoint him exclusively for myself, meaning my personal secretary. And when he spoke to him, he said, indeed, you are today established in position and trusted. He just got the job because he was patient. So did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forsake him? He was in prison and there was no way he could have come out of it. But Allah arranged for this in the nicest way, in so subtle a way that no one would realize that what happened. Allah made this king dream about it. Allah made this men realize it and go straight to find out. Okay, so Allah made it so. So he went out to get the interpretation of the dream, and he immediately recalled how his personal dream, his friend's dream, was interpreted by Yusuf alayhi salam in the prison, who then asked him to go and remind your master, the king, about me, but he forgot. So after that many years, he came and then spoke to him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it so that he came out, and not just came out, he came out in the best way. He came out in such an awesome way that people were like saying, wow. For one, he was very handsome, he was prophet on top of that, and then his welcome was just so amazing. Yusuf alayhi salam, before leaving, prayed for all the inmates. He took ritual bath, and he had new clothes, and he came and he was reciting this dua, Hasbi Rabbi min dunyaya wa hasbi Rabbi min khalqih azza jar wa jalla sana wa la ilaha ghayruh. This was beautiful. My Lord is sufficient for me from my dunya, from all the creation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's protection is honorable. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala glory, His praise is of high eminence. There's no God, no one worthy of worship except Him. So when he reached inside the court, he turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again and he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the same spirit. He was not impressed by what's happening around him. He was so connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said that in Arabic, Allahumma inni as'aluka min khayrika min khayri wa a'udhu bika min sharri wa sharri ghayri. The king didn't know. He spoke to Yusuf alayhi salam in several different languages. So he knew many languages, but he didn't know Arabic and Hebrew. Yusuf alayhi salam then, told him that salam, when he said salam in Arabic, is Arabic word and the dua in Hebrew language. So he got quite impressed because Yusuf alayhi salam knew quite a few languages, two additional languages, Arabic and in Hebrew. So it just increased Yusuf alayhi salam in his respect and honor. King started liking him. Everyone started looking at him and saying, wow, that's amazing. Then Yusuf alayhi salam explained the dream and the plan of action in details. He said, the first 7 years of expected heavy rains, you should have arrangements made so that cultivation and crops yield their highest. This could be done by giving incentives to people to make sure that their maximum land areas come under cultivation and crops turn out plentiful, and then let them keep storing 1/5 of their total produce with them. So that was another intention. Thus, the people of Egypt would have stored with them enough for the 7 years of famine, and you would not, O king, have to worry about them. And then, O king, keep whatever supply of grains come to the government through fixed taxes or state land stored for those coming from outside the country, because this famine will be widespread. So from your taxes that you get from people, and also this land that state owns, from their produce, those lands produce, you just keep it for people who are coming from outside and sell it to them. They would come to seek your help because the drought is going to be everywhere. You may then help so many deprived people, but also you would be making a lot of money, even if you were to sell those extra, saved grains. You can sell it to them and get extra cash. So they became very much rich with that. Obviously, the king was very pleased with the advice and the plan. And then he was thinking about, the king, thinking about who would be able to execute this plan. Looks like a plan, but how and what and who is going to do that? What are the detailed matter here? So Yusuf alayhi salam, realizing that, offered him this, saying, he said, Yusuf alayhi salam, اجعلني على خزائن الأرض إني حفيظ عليم. Appoint me over the storehouses of the land. Indeed, I will be a knowing God. I will look after it. Let me do it. In the two words appearing here, Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam has combined together all the functional virtues a genuine finance minister should have. Number one, it has to have two things. The treasury should have two things. He should not allow government property to be wasted. In fact, should collect, conserve, and protect it fully. Then he should see to it that it is not spent on non-deserving people or on false heads of expenditures. Be very careful. The Qawi and as Hafiz, those are the people, they would look after it. He should not fall short in spending what has to be spent and where it has to be spent, and at the same time, he should not spend more than the quantum of the need. We do not go this way or that way. Fratut Tafriq, be in the center. Does the word Hafiz mean full guarantee? The person who gives the full guarantee of the first need means the first one where nothing has been wasted. The first words Alim means the second, means that you use it where you need to use it. Now, after a year has passed, he was then appointed as a finance minister, but also he was given the sort of secretary of the whole state. He became the head, almost head of everything. Some commentators have written that so this is the story where Yusuf alayhi salam is now being in charge of everything. Qitfi, the Potiphar, he passed away, the husband of Zulaykha. And the king of Egypt then offered and he arranged for marriage of Yusuf alayhi salam with Zulaykha. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Zulaykha, the lady, she was very, very beautiful, and she actually became Muslimah at the hand of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. He said, is it not better than what you did and what you wanted to do? Zulaykha confessed to her being at fault, giving her excuse for having done what she did, and lying as well. Allah made them both happy, and they had two children, Ephraim and Mansa. Now Yusuf alayhi salam started loving Sayyidah Zulaykha immensely. And unfortunately or fortunately, it was such that she became Muslim, and she became so dedicated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She became so devout a Muslimah that she is spending more time in connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Yusuf was a little bit upset by this, saying, why is it that you do not love me as much as you did in the past? That through you, I am now blessed with the love of Allah. With this in view, other relationships and thoughts seem to have dimmed out. Means now the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's candle is kindled in my heart. So I'm just burning with that love, in front of which no other love can even go past at all. So it's because I know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now. So when you do that, you have no chance of loving anyone other than Allah. Such was the conviction of the lady, mashallah. Very good, isn't it? May Allah give us tawfiq to practice and improve our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.